Hey guys, we are going to be doing a new lesson about finding the area of triangles. But before we start, we're going to be looking back at last lesson. And just a quick recap, we're going to be looking at how to find an area of a parallelogram because knowing this will really be helpful when you're trying to find the area of a triangle. So again, let's quick recap. I'm just going to go over this really quickly. So imagine this is a perfect parallelogram. So when you're finding the area, I'll just throw the formula over here. So area is equal to base times height. Our base for this parallelogram will be 3 centimeters. And let's say our height is 2 centimeters. We're just going to keep this really simple for now. Now we're going to plug these numbers into our formula. So our formula is right here. So area is equal to base, which is 3 centimeters. Make sure you have your units of measurement, times 2 centimeters, which is our height. When we do this, when you times 2 centimeters together, you're going to get centimeters squared. So that will be 6 centimeters squared. Now looking at this parallelogram, we can confidently say that this is 6 centimeters squared. I always like circling my answers. It makes it really easy to find it when you're kind of looking back or when the teacher's marking it. Now we're going to be looking at a triangle. So we're going to reimagine the parallelogram that was drawn above. So just imagine this looks the exact same. One thing that you notice, or I always noticed, and it makes it really easy for when you're trying to find the area of a triangle, is to imagine that a parallelogram has a line going through the middle of it. And when you divide a parallelogram in two, you get two congruent triangles. This is going to be really helpful for when you are trying to find the area. So we have this formula up here. Area is equal to base times height, finding a parallelogram. And when we looked at this parallelogram, we can see two triangles. So if we're trying to find an area of one triangle, we can just imagine that this side is no longer here. So we can use the exact same formula, but just divided by 2. So you can throw a 2 underneath there. And that's how you find an area of a triangle. Now let's imagine that it keeps its 3 centimeters base and it's 2 centimeters height. Now we're going to plug in our formula. So base times height over 2, or you might see it like this as well. 1/2 times base times height. I should have put that in there first as well. So we're going to plug our numbers into our formulas. So we'll call this one formula 1 and formula 2. We're going to get the exact same answers with these. Now, formula 1. So we'll work with that one first. So our area is our base, which is 3 centimeters, times our height, 2 centimeters. And we're going to throw that over 2. And when we do this, we will get 6 centimeters squared. Don't forget that little 2 above the centimeters, over 2. And we always simplify, so we get 3 centimeters squared. So we can confidently say again that our area of this triangle is 3 centimeters squared. But there's another way of finding this. So our area is equal to 1/2 times base, and our base is 3. And we're going to throw that over 1 to make it a little easier when we're doing some multiplication. And our height, which is 2 centimeters. And we're going to throw that over 1 to make it a little easier as well. When we add all these together, or times them, we get 6 centimeters squared over 2. Oh, accidentally went to the eraser. Over 2. So our area, again, we simplify, is going to be 3 centimeters squared. I'm going to circle these. As you can see, we got the exact same answer, but we use different formulas. When we're doing the assignment, or when you're doing the assignment, you can choose whatever formula works for you, whatever one kind of makes it easier for you. Maybe you like seeing it spread out a little more, so you're going to use formula 2. Formula 1 is a little more compact. That's the one I prefer using. But if you use formula 2, that's perfectly okay. That's how you learn. So let's do a couple more examples before I leave you. Now let's reimagine that this triangle has a base of 5 centimeters and it has a height of 6 centimeters. Now we're going to use the same formula. So we'll say, remember formula 1, that we've kind of given it as area is equal to base times height over 2 or divided by 2. And formula 2 is area is equal to 1/2 times base times height. So we're going to start plugging in our numbers and working through our formula. So formula 1, area is equal to base, so our base is 5 centimeters. Remember that unit of measurement, times 6 centimeters, which is our height, divided by 2. The next step will give us an answer of 30 centimeters squared, and it is over 2. And then we're going to simplify it again. It's going to be 15 centimeters squared. So I'm going to circle my answer just so when I'm marking your assignments, I can find the answer really easily. Or if you have a correction to do, you can kind of see what the answer is and compare it to the back of the textbook and make adjustments. So our second formula is going to give us the exact same answer, but we're just going to write it out a little differently. So our area is equal to 1/2 times our base, which is 5 centimeters, and we're going to throw that over 1 just for our sake, so it makes it a little easier in the end, times our height. Oh, again, I went to the eraser. Times our height, which will be 6 centimeters over 1. And then our next step will be, so we're going to times all these together, will give us 30 centimeters squared over 2. And we're going to simplify that, and that will again give us 15 centimeters squared. As you can see, we used 2 different formulas, and we got the exact same answer. Again, it doesn't matter what the triangle looks like. It could be a isosceles, it could be a right triangle, it could be an acute triangle. It will always use the exact same formula. So even if I had a right triangle, like right here, and this was, let's say, 6 centimeters by 4 centimeters, I'm going to get the exact same answer with this triangle and this triangle. Doesn't matter what the triangle looks like, you are always going to get the exact same answer. You just have to make sure you find the height and you find the base. So we'll do this one last time as an example. Our first formula, so we'll just do formula 1, is area is equal to base times height over 2. We're going to plug in the numbers. So area is equal to our base, which is 6 centimeters, and it is going to be times by our height, which is 4 centimeters, and we're going to throw that over 2. Our area is therefore going to be 24 centimeters squared over 2, and we're going to always simplify it. It's going to be 12 centimeters squared is going to be our final answer. So I'm going to use formula number 2 to show you that it's going to get you the exact same answer. So area is going to be 1/2 times our base and also our height. And then we're going to plug in the numbers. So area is equal to 1/2 times what's our base. Our base is 6 centimeters over 1. Throw the little centimeters. And then our height, which is 4 centimeters. Oh, and then we're going to throw that over 1 as well. So when we times all these together, we are going to get 24 centimeters squared over 2. We're going to simplify. We're going to get 12 centimeters squared. So again, you can see 2 different formulas getting the exact same answer. So this is how you find the area of a triangle. So it's really important that you understand the last unit and how to find an area of a parallelogram, because we're going to use the exact same formula. We're just going to throw it over 2 or divide it by 2, because again, a parallelogram is just 2 congruent triangles stuck together. So when you find an area of a parallelogram, you have basically the area of 2 triangles. So you're just going to divide by 2, and that will give you your triangle area. If you have any questions, make sure you email me or send me a comment on the Google Classroom. So make sure before you ask me a question, you watch this video, you read the textbook, and you also go through the Google Slides. So use those three, and if it's still not making sense, then send me a message so you can do a comment on your lesson or on your assignment, and then I'll respond to that pretty quickly. Or you can throw me an email or have your parents seesaw me. But that's after you use all three. So first, use the Google Slides. And then second, look over the textbook. And then 3, this video. And then 4, in the steps of trying to figure out the assignments, message Mr. Meigs. Again, this is all new to me as well. I'm learning with you guys. So keep that in mind. It's a learning curve for all of us. And if you have any questions, message me. It's really important that you understand this because math, you want to make sure you know the first step before you move on to the second step. So if you don't get step 1, you're not going to get step 2. So make sure it makes sense to you so we can build on that. And I hope everyone's taken care out there and you're all safe. So until next time. Oh, and before I go, I'm going to be uploading these videos for every math lesson that we do. So you'll always have 2 or 3, because we might not use the textbook all the time. You'll have at least 2 options of instructions to help you figure out the assignment. So until next time, take care, guys.